Hello and welcome to your Year 11 information for 2021 subject selections. This is Miss Brown here as your year advisor. I will be able to give you some essential information to help you choose the right subjects for yourself in your senior years. Firstly, there are a number of people through the school that can help you make these decisions. They include Mr. Chris Davies as the principal, Miss Tanya Madison as deputy principal, Mrs. Anne Fellows as the careers advisor, myself as your year advisor, but also faculty head teachers and other teachers across the school. So selecting your subjects for Year 11 2021, there are a number of events that we're hoping to still continue to run, which will help you select and make your decisions. But there are lots of people that you can speak to across the school about these things also. Firstly, we're looking at work experience for this year, still running in Term 4. While most students will have selected their subjects before this time, it is still a good time for students to get out into the workforce and start thinking about their future career aspirations. We're hoping to have tasters and mini lessons still run this year for our Year 10 students. These are very short lessons of different senior subjects with senior teachers which will give the students some information on what the subject is about and a little bit of an insight. It also gives students the opportunity to ask teachers about their course. We will then run the student, parent and caregiver interviews that will be next term. We're not sure at this stage as to when or how these will look, but we will still create these interviews, so it will allow parents, caregivers and their students to essentially select their subjects correctly and make sure that they are covering all requirements. Once students make their selections, the subject lines are formed. Once these subject lines are formed, some students may have to reselect their subjects. And this is because of a various number of reasons, which could be that the subject is no longer running or there is a clash with the subjects that they have chosen. We do ask the students to have a couple of backup ideas just in case this does happen. By the end of Term 3, most students will know the courses that they are going to study in 2021, but they still have until the end of Week 5 in Term 1 next year to change their selections around with a little bit of wriggle room. So how to choose your subjects for the preliminary course. You must read the senior information booklet carefully. Watch the subject-specific videos that are of interest to you and check that your choices satisfy the HSC requirements. This is something that we can help you do within your interview process as well. It's also really important that you speak to teachers and students that have done these subjects in the past. When you consider your subject choices, choose subjects that address your abilities, interests, and motivations. They need to address your career aspirations and needs. You need to look at syllabus requirements. Is there practical? What major works do these subjects entail? Some major works can take up quite a bit of your study time, so it's important to make sure that you don't have too many of these. Subject combinations, do they work? Will they make sense for the career path that you are looking for? And what other commitments do you have that might hinder your ability to successfully complete these courses? For example, some subjects do require you to do a fair bit of practical work experience, which may mean that if you work or play a sport outside of school, during that time period, it might be very difficult for you to maintain. When you consider your subject choices, keep it simple. What do you like and what are you good at? You will do well in subjects that you enjoy. It's no good choosing something that you don't enjoy. Look at your options carefully and have a thorough knowledge of these options. So ask your teachers, ask past students or current students within those subjects now, and have a chat with Ms. Fellows or myself or also Miss Madison about those specific subjects. Be realistic. You need to understand your abilities, your strengths, and your weaknesses. So this is being realistic when looking at at multiple subjects with major works. You don't want to have too many major works behind you because these do take up a fair chunk of your study time. And most importantly, you need to listen to all of the advice that is given to you. So if you're somebody that doesn't like doing sport or physical activity, then maybe doing sport, lifestyle, and recreation is not a very good option for you. Some other advice for choosing your subjects. Do not choose subjects based on your friends' choices or on who you think the teacher might be. Teachers get changed around quite often, and while ever we think we have some idea of what we might be teaching in 2021, it's not set in concrete until we come back the following year. Approach your subject selection with the attitude that you can try subjects and change them if you do not like them. This is a really silly approach to have because you may find that subjects that you would have preferred to be in fill up quite quickly, and then you will miss out on gaining a spot in those classes. So really think about your subject selections and go in to select subjects that you are interested in. It's not a try and buy situation. A little note for parents, your involvement in your child's future directions is vital. You can improve your ability to help by being informed and aware. So have a look through the subject selection booklet yourself, but also have a look through the subject selection videos that have been created. Discuss your child's future regularly with them. Research up-to-date and useful information and explore with your child their dreams and ideas and help investigate, listen, and support. Be realistic about your child's ability and strengths. And finally, please be aware that some courses do have fees. There is financial assistance available for families that do need them, but these fees are a requirement for quite a few of the more practical subjects. So where to from here? Ask as many questions as possible. Booking will be open soon for an interview time to finalise your subject selections, so keep a lookout for that. And also spend time reading the prospectus before your interview. So before you come into your interview, please make sure you've had some kind of background knowledge on the subjects that you are looking at choosing. It will make it much easier for yourself. And again, ask lots of questions. This is where you'll find out the most information. So if you do have any questions on any of the information that has been mentioned, you can speak to myself as your year advisor, Mrs. Fellows as your careers advisor, Miss Madison as the deputy principal, or Mr. Davies as the principal. And please don't hesitate to get in touch with us if you do have questions. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to the video on the rules of the HSC. All students will receive a ROSA at the end of Year 10, which is a record of students' achievement. This is an E-record, which is cumulative, and the students' grades in Year 11 and 12 will also be contained on this E-record. When a student leaves school, they will receive a paper copy or a formal copy of all their documentations for the grades they have received. The HSC minimum standards has been implemented to ensure that students have the literacy and numeracy skills that they need once they leave school. These are online tests which are 45 minutes long, and students do not need to achieve a minimum standard when they choose their subjects for their HSC. Students who do not meet the minimum standards can still sit the HSC exams and receive an ATAR, and they still do receive a minimum standard report. The school leaving age for all students in New South Wales is 17 years old. Students must have completed Year 10 if they are leaving school, be engaged in studies such as TAFE or an apprenticeship or traineeship, or full-time paid work of 25 hours or more, or a combination of these. If a student is considering leaving school at the end of Year 10, they really should make an appointment with Mrs. Fellows, the careers advisor, to discuss their options. To be eligible for the HSC in 2021, students must have 12 units in Year 11 that they complete and 10 in Year 12. There are other rules that you can read here as well, and please note that English is the only compulsory subject. Board-developed courses have been developed by NESA, and they have HSC examinations and may count towards the student's ATAR. They can be Category A or Category B. Only one Category B subject can count towards an ATAR. Category A subjects are more traditional subjects. that are academically rigorous. Some have major works. Category B subjects in general are VET subjects, vocational education and training, except for English studies, and only one of these can count towards the HSC, although students can choose to study more than one. Board endorsed courses do not have HSC examinations and do not count to an ATAR, and some of these are listed here. But please note, to be eligible for your HSC, students can only study 2 if they're studying 5 subjects for the HSC, or 3 if they're studying 6 subjects for the HSC. Here are some examples of students and whether they are eligible or not for the HSC based on their pattern of study. If you would like to read through these in more detail, please pause the presentation here. Students need to think about what they would like to do when they leave school to decide their pattern of study, if they want an ATAR or not, or whether they do not, or they want more vocational education and training courses for their HSC. This is something that we will discuss with students and their parents at their subject selection interviews. When choosing your subjects, please note there is no first in, first best. Students make their choices online. Lines are formed after students have made their choices, and the order that you make your choices is important. Here are some examples of some lines. These are not real lines, they're just lines that have been made up. Here are my first 6 subjects. These are the subjects I want to do the most, and these are 3 other subjects I would also be happy to do. If I look at how they go on the lines when we put them on, you can see that drama and business studies, there is an overlap. If these were my subjects that I had chosen, the subjects I would be studying for my HSC would be standard English, standard maths, textiles, society and culture, biology and hospitality, as drama and business studies clash with other subjects which are higher on my choice list. So please ask as many questions as possible. Spend some time reading the prospectus, the booklet we have given you, and make an interview in weeks 2 or 3 with Mrs. Fellow, myself, and the other staff who are involved in making, or who are involved in helping you make your decisions. Please ask lots of questions.
TAFE is known as TVET. Studying a TAFE subject as part of your HSC is referred to as TVET. TAFE offers a variety of both framework and non-framework courses. Some courses have a compulsory work placement component and others don't. This placement can occur during the school term or in the school holidays. Some TVET courses contribute towards an ATAR and other courses don't, but all courses count towards your HSC. A full list of courses is available from TAFE or from your careers advisor at school. TAFE occurs on a Thursday afternoon at the Wagga campus across from Wagga Wagga High School or at the Primary Industry Centre, and usually occurs from 1 or 1:30 to 5 or 5:30 each Thursday afternoon, or in the school holidays as a block delivery, or it also can occur online via connected classrooms. Courses run for 1 to 2 years, depending on the student's subject selection and their HSC pattern of study. On successful completion of a TVET course, students gain units towards their HSC and gain a qualification from industry and a transcript outlining this qualification. TAFE is off-campus and an adult learning environment, but attendance is checked and monitored each week by the school. If you are interested in TVET, you must apply via school, remembering there is an application and there are very strict cut-off dates. TAFE is their own organisation and students are required to follow the TAFE guidelines. If you are interested in studying a TVET course, more information can be gained from your school careers advisor or visit the TAFE website. SBATs are also referred to as school-based apprenticeships and traineeships. An SBAT allows a student the opportunity to combine paid work and training leading to a recognised VET credential, which also counts towards units in the HSC. An SBAT gives students valuable skills and experiences in an area of interest. Students are in paid employment with recognised training while studying their HSC at school. It is the responsibility of the student to find an employer that will take them into their business for approximately 8 hours per week over 2 years. This usually includes 1 day per week or a couple of half days, and can also include weekends and school holidays. SBATs need to be approved through the Department of Education and State Training, as well as the student's school. It is a fantastic start to an apprenticeship or gives students a full traineeship qualification over the 2-year period. Like all opportunities, there are positives and negatives to these programs, and all students are encouraged to speak to their careers advisor at school for more information and receive the required paperwork and application forms. If a student is interested in a school-based apprenticeship or traineeship, more information can be gained via the website or speak to your careers advisor at the school. What sort of senior student will you be? When looking into your subjects for the HSC, try and cover all post-school options. Think about whether you are considering subjects that will prepare you for TAFE, for university or employment, or maybe a combination of some of these. You need to think about yourself as a student and decide if you're looking for a challenging, highly academic pattern of study or a more hands-on practical vocational type of HSC. Are you considering a school-based apprenticeship or traineeship, where you can combine school, employment and industry training for a chosen career path? Another option is a Pathways HSC, where students can complete their education over a number of years in a part-time capacity. If this is something that would suit you, please discuss this option with Miss Madison or Mrs. Fellows. When choosing subjects, the decisions can be made clearer when you have been informed and researched. Sites such as the Wagga Wagga High School career site can give you a lot of information, but there are many others. Talk to your parents, as they know you best, or older siblings or family members. Talk to older or current students studying the subjects to get their perspective. There are many guides and publications from TAFE, certain careers or jobs. These are available from the Careers Room or online. Universities also produce many resources. These can give you valuable information regarding university requirements and in some cases prerequisites for degrees. I also recommended these web sources for you to have a look at before you make your final decision. The best advice in regard to university is keeping your options open, but finding out specifically what each university requires. You need to consider the world of work and life after school, because it already has dramatically changed and will undergo even greater changes into the future. You need to remember that whatever career or job or pathway you choose, education will be lifelong, so you will constantly be learning. No job is guaranteed for life, and most of you will work in at least 6 to 8 different jobs in your working life. There are many rapid changes in technology, and these will continue into many of the jobs that you will undertake that have never been invented yet. So maybe a good place to start are what might be the jobs of the future. Whatever your reason, there is a pattern of study that will best suit your needs. We want you to choose carefully, but the rule is the same for everyone. Informed decisions will make your senior studies at Wagga High School work for you. So good luck.
This is the video that explains the ATAR and how the ATAR works. The ATAR is the Australian Tertiary Admissions Rank, and it is a rank, not a mark. It is a number between 0 and 99.95 that indicates how well the student has performed in their HSC in comparison to the other students in the state. So if a student receives an ATAR of 80, they have effectively performed better than 80% of the students in the state, placing them in the top 20% of the students in their age group in the state. An ATAR is one way that universities select students for their courses and their programs, but they do run other programs not based on the ATAR that may help students enter university, and these programs are explained to students when they're in Year 11 and 12. For more information about how the ATAR works, you can go to the UAC website. UAC is the University's Admission Centre for more information. There are 2 videos that you can watch that explain the ATAR, how it's calculated, and how students are compared. To be eligible for the ATAR, students must complete 2 units of English and 8 other units of board-endorsed courses. Only 2 units of Category B subjects can be included, and I explained in more detail Category A and B subjects in the How to Get Your HSC video. Category A subjects are generally subjects that are more academically rigorous, such as business studies and biology, and Category B subjects in general are vocational education courses, such as construction, hospitality, and entertainment. I've given some examples to show whether students are eligible or not for their ATAR. If you would like more information about how this works, we are interviewing students and their parents in weeks 2 and 3, and this would be a good time for you to talk to staff about whether your student will be eligible or not with the ATAR based on the subjects they'd like to study. The scaling myth is where students believe that if they do traditionally subjects that are harder, that they will get a better ATAR. This is not the case. If students pick subjects they are good at and that they enjoy, then they will do better at them, and this will have a much better impact on their ATAR. Here are 4 students and the marks that they received for each of these subjects. Student B is the subjects that are traditionally considered harder, whereas the other students have picked subjects that they are interested in. Student A has received an ATAR of 95, which places them in the top 5% with a broad range of humanities and science subjects. Student B received an ATAR of less than 70 because they did not achieve marks over about 70 in most of their subjects, which means that their ATAR will not be as high. Student C has no science and no maths, but has picked subjects that are creative and subjects they are good at to achieve an ATAR, placing them in the top 5% of the state. Student D receives an ATAR of over 80 with a very broad range of subjects, including some hands-on subjects with major works. So when choosing your subjects, please ensure that you check that there are no prerequisites if you are interested in studying at certain universities and certain courses, and select subjects you're good at and that you enjoy, because these are subjects you will do better at, and the subjects you do better at will lead to higher marks and a better ATAR.